It started with a Sunday dinner that felt like a stage play. The Hendricks family sat around the oak table in their two-story home outside Charlotte. Pot roast, sweet tea, the good plates. Leah noticed the extra candles, the two wide smiles, the nervous energy that made her mother, Denise, smooth invisible crumbs from the tablecloth. "Okay," her father, Martin, said, clearing his throat the way he did before big news. "Your brother has something to share." Evan straightened his tie, though he wasn't wearing one.
"So,
"Jenna and I set a date." Leah clapped, genuinely. "Finally! What took you so long?" "Venue logistics," Evan said, eyes shining. "We're doing it in Dubai." The word hung in the air like a glittering chandelier. Her sister, Madison, squealed loud enough that the dog barked. "In Dubai," Leah repeated, stunned and smiling because it felt required. "As in United Arab Emirates, Dubai?" "Exactly," Jenna chimed in, her diamond catching the light. "My uncle's business partners live there. The hotel's on the marina. Sunset over the water, and the Burj Khalifa in the reception photos, like unreal." Madison rushed around the table to hug Jenna. "I'm going to cry. This is so you." Leah smiled and swallowed the pressure that rose in her chest. She could already see the Instagram posts, the dresses, the ocean of expectations. She also saw her bank account, as practical and quiet as ever, waiting for a plan. "June," Martin added, as if June were just an ordinary month and not 6 calendar flips away. "We'll make it special." Leah squeezed her napkin and said, "It already is." The family group chat went from sleepy to electric. Madison changed the name to Dubai Dream Team Airplane Sparkles, and the messages stacked like dominoes. Links to hotel rooms with infinity pools. TikToks about desert safaris. Screenshots of satin bridesmaid dresses in sand and champagne. Leah was not a bridesmaid. She wasn't offended. The wedding looked like a corporate merger between aesthetics and budget. She sent a stream of supportive emojis and quietly opened her budgeting app. Rent, car payment, student loans, groceries, tithe. She pinched the screen to see if the numbers would multiply. Madison texted, "OMG, flights are like $1,200. Evan, don't worry, Mom and Dad said they'll help us figure it out." Leah set her phone down and stared out the window of her apartment. Winter pressed its pale hand against the glass. She had a dependable job at a logistics company, a schedule, a plant that survived. Her life was a clean list. Dubai didn't fit anywhere on it. Her best friend, Jamie, called. "You okay?" Leah laughed, the thin kind. "My brother's getting married in Dubai." "Oh, wow." Pause. "That's incredible. And a lot." "A lot," Leah repeated. "Do we love the bride?" "We like her," Leah said. "She's kind. And she makes Evan happy." "Then we handle the logistics," Jamie replied. "You're literally a logistics coordinator." Leah smiled despite the knot inside. "Ha! If only airfare worked like pallets." The next news came by way of a photo. Madison posted a boomerang of 2 sleek airline confirmation emails on the kitchen island. Booked. Beneath it, her parents' thumbs up and a stream of confetti. Leah's phone buzzed again, this time a private text from Madison. "Aren't you excited?" Leah typed, deleted, typed again. "Wait, whose tickets?" "Mine and Evan's," Madison replied. Mom and Dad wanted to secure the flights early before prices go crazy. They're booking Jenna's parents too, like as a gift, and Aunt Carol. "It's all happening." Leah blinked. The room felt suddenly tilted, like a car easing up a ramp she hadn't noticed. Her hands went cool. A minute later, her mother called. "Hi, baby." Denise sang. "Isn't this wonderful? Evan's wedding in Dubai." "It is," Leah said, steadying her voice. I saw the confirmations. Yes. We snagged great fares for Maddie and Evan. We're covering theirs, and Jenna's parents were worried about international flying. So we figured, why not make it smooth for them? It's a blessing to be a blessing. Leah sat down on the edge of her bed. And me. A beat. The clatter of dishes in the background. Well, Denise said gently, your father and I talked. You're very independent. You've got a good job. We figured you'd sort yourself out. The phrase struck like a cold splash. Sort myself out? You know, book when you're ready, Denise said, still cheerful. We can't do everyone. You're so responsible. You'll be fine. Fine. Leah stared at the plant on her nightstand, the one she tried not to overwater. Okay, she managed. Thanks for letting me know. After the call ended, silence pooled around her. She lay back and watched the shadows crawl across the ceiling. In her chest, something old and familiar stirred, the way an uninvited memory does. Third-grade field trip money paid for her siblings first. Leah told there would be next time. A graduation party where the balloon order went to Madison's college colors, not Leah's. Little things. Small, sharp things. Leah's father called the next evening as she left work. The winter sun was already thinning over the parking lot. Hey, kiddo. Martin's voice was steady. Your mother mentioned you sounded disappointed. Leah buckled her seatbelt and let the car warm. I was just surprised. We only have so much, he said, matter of fact. Evan's the groom. Madison's in the wedding. Jenna's parents have never traveled abroad. Felt right to smooth it for them. You're positioned well. You'll handle it. Dad, Leah said, careful. Positioned well doesn't mean money lying around. Leah, he said, the soft sternness that had set curfews and chore charts. You've always been the one we could count on. You're strong. Your siblings, well, they need more from us. She watched her breath fog the windshield. Needing more doesn't mean deserving more. He exhaled. Let's not make this a thing. It is a thing, she said, surprising herself. It's always been a thing. I'll figure it out. I always do. But it still hurts. A long pause. We love you. I know, Leah said softly. I'll call you later. She hung up and pressed her head against the steering wheel. The glow of brake lights ahead smeared into red lines through tears she hadn't planned on. Sleep frayed around the edges. Leah scrolled flight sites at 2 a.m., watching prices jump like fish. She made a spreadsheet, columns for airlines, layovers, travel insurance, baggage fees. The numbers sat there, unemotional, daring her to make them behave. At work, her boss asked if she could pick up an extra client. Leah said yes because that's what Leah did. She recorded a voice memo on her lunch break. Work bonus potential. Ask HR. HM. Sell the couch? No. Start rideshare driving on weekends? Maybe. Jamie found her in the break room staring at a packet of instant oatmeal like it had insulted her. Hey, Jamie said. Come walk. They circled the block, breath clouding. Say it out loud. Leah told her everything. Jamie listened, hands in pockets. When Leah finished, the wind knifed between buildings and they both shivered. Okay, Jamie said. We have a few tracks. 1. You don't go. You set a boundary, loud and clear. 2. You go, but on your terms. 3. You go and let the resentment rot you from the inside. We're eliminating 3. Leah huffed a laugh. Noted. What does your gut say? Family matters, Leah said. If I don't go, they'll call me dramatic for years. If I do go, it's me choosing them, again, without them choosing me. Jamie nodded. Then maybe this isn't about choosing them. Maybe it's about choosing you, wherever you stand. Leah looked up at the white winter sky. I'll think on it. 2 Sundays later, Leah drove to her parents' house with a pie and a speech she practiced in the car. She placed the pie on the counter beside glossy wedding magazines. Denise hugged her, floral perfume familiar as childhood. "I made your favorite green beans." "Thanks, Mom." Leah exhaled. "Can we talk?" They sat at the table, just the three of them. Martin folded his hands. Denise fussed with a placemat. Leah breathed, felt her feet on the floor. "I'm happy for Evan. And I'm proud of Maddie. But you telling me to sort myself out, that hurt. It felt like a pattern. Like I'm the strong one until it costs you something." Denise blinked, wounded. "That's not fair." "Maybe," Leah said softly. "But it's true for me." Martin fished for logic. "We helped with your down payment last year." "You co-signed," Leah said. "And I'm grateful. This isn't a ledger. It's about feeling seen." Denise's eyes warmed with tears. "I didn't realize I said it like that. I meant, you're capable." "I am," Leah said. "And that's precisely why it's easy to overlook me." Silence filled the room. A clock ticked, the dog's collar jingled. Martin cleared his throat. "What do you need from us now?" Leah searched herself. "Honesty. And if you can't help, just say that. Don't dress it up as a compliment." Denise reached for her hand. "I'm sorry for how I said it." Leah squeezed back. "Thank you." She pulled her hand away, gentle. "I'm going to try to make it work. But if I can't, I won't put myself in debt to prove loyalty." Martin nodded slowly. "That's reasonable. Reasonable." The word landed like a chair finally set level on a floor. Later that week, Leah met Madison for smoothies near campus. Madison breezed in on a gust of vanilla perfume and good news. "I picked the bridesmaid's color, champagne sand," she announced, like she'd solved healthcare. Leah laughed. "It sounds like a candle scent." Madison sipped, then looked at Leah over the rim. "I didn't know about the tickets. I mean, I knew mine, but I thought they were helping you too." Leah lifted a shoulder. "It's fine." "It's not," Madison said, surprising Leah with her seriousness. "You're always the glue. Sometimes glue dries out." Leah smiled. "Are you quoting Pinterest at me?" "Shut up," Madison said, grinning. "Listen, I've been saving for my grad program. But if you need help—" "No," Leah said quickly. "You've got your life. I'll figure out mine." Madison studied her. "Promise you won't resent me when I post from a camel?" "I will absolutely resent your camel," Leah said. They both laughed, the kind that loosens something knotted. The truth beneath the joke remained, but it breathed. Evan called that night. "Hey, sis. I know things got weird. I told Mom and Dad they didn't have to cover my ticket. They insisted." "It's okay," Leah said. "You're the groom." "I want you there," Evan said, voice cracking around the edges. "You're my only sister." "I'm your favorite sister," Leah corrected, and they both laughed. After, she stared at the ceiling again, but this time the shadows didn't feel like cliffs. They felt like a map she might learn to read. Leah chose track 2, Go, on her terms. She listed everything she could do that didn't break her. She sold 3 barely worn dresses online. She took on Saturday morning shifts at the logistics center, training new hires. She drove for a rideshare app Friday nights, picking up college kids with glitter on their cheeks and listening to their stories, how they loved or didn't, how they were terrified and thrilled. She downloaded a language app and learned to say thank you in Arabic, shukran, which felt like a promise to the air itself that she would arrive grateful, not bitter. She scheduled a meeting with HR, negotiated a modest retention bonus in exchange for a 6-month commitment. She started packing early, because packing felt like deciding. Jamie sent her a spreadsheet with tabs labeled flights, lodging, ground, and fun. I put fun last so you don't cut it, Jamie said. Non-negotiable. Leah booked a flight with a layover in Frankfurt and a window seat. She always liked to see the world arriving. For lodging, she found a clean, small room 10 minutes walk from the marina. Not the hotel with the bridesmaids, but not a hostel either. She told herself this was autonomy, not exile. When the email confirmation hit her inbox, she stared at it for a full minute, her heart surprising her in how it lifted. She forwarded it to Jamie with 3 rocket emojis. She didn't send it to the family chat. Not yet. Charlotte's airport hummed with roller bags and goodbyes. Leah wore compression socks and carried the book she always meant to finish. Her parents and siblings flew 2 days later, timing their arrival for the rehearsal dinner. Leah said she wanted an extra day to adjust to the time zone, which was partly true and partly hers to keep. At the gate, she watched a toddler press his palms against the window, chanting, "Airplane, airplane," and thought of how small and big everything is at once. She texted the family chat, "See you in Dubai," with a picture of her boarding pass. Madison sent 20 heart eyes. Evan wrote "my girl" and a flexing arm. Her mother replied with the prayer hands and a purple heart. On the plane, Leah leaned into the white noise. She cried twice to no one's notice, small, invisible griefs for every time she swallowed hurt to let the moment stay pretty. Then she wiped her face, watched a romantic comedy, and slept. Dubai looked like a city from a future that decided to be kind. The marina shimmered, skyscrapers like mirrored reeds around blue water. Leah walked along the promenade with coffee and the kind of smile that sneaks up on you when you aren't performing it for anyone. She FaceTimed Jamie from a bench. "Are you actually happy?" Jamie asked, squinting at the sun in Leah's screen. "I am," Leah said. "It's weird. Weird is allowed." Leah visited the souk and ran her fingers over scarves brighter than American stoplights. She learned how to bargain badly and laughed about it. She watched families pose for photos, mothers adjusting tendrils of hair behind ears, fathers holding babies like basketballs. She felt alone and not alone at the same time. That evening, her family group chat buzzed. "We're boarding." She sent a selfie with the marina behind her. Welcome party of one is scouting dessert. When they arrived, Leah met them in the hotel lobby with dates and tiny cups of cardamom coffee. Denise hugged her like she'd just returned from war, and Leah let herself be held. "Look at you," Denise said, teary. "You made it." "I did," Leah said. "On time and under budget." Martin laughed, proud despite himself. The rehearsal dinner glittered. Jenna's uncle had secured a rooftop with a view that made silence fall every time someone looked up. Madison shimmered in sand champagne. Evan looked like 1,000 boyhood versions of himself had merged into this one, handsome and terrified. Leah took a seat near the end of a long table and soaked the room in, laughter bouncing, music soft as a breeze. Her parents sat closer to the center with Jenna's family. A place card with Leah's name waited for her at the edge like a polite secret. Halfway through the meal, Evan stood to thank everyone. "I want to say something about my sister," he said, voice snagging on the S, heads turned. Leah's fork hovered. "Leah taught me how to tie a tie," he continued. "She taught me how to send a professional email and how to apologize." Soft laughter. Evan's eyes found hers. "She taught me that love is often quiet, but it shouldn't always be invisible." Leah looked down, suddenly shy, and when she looked up again, her mother was crying. Later, on the terrace, Martin found her. The city glowed in the water like a duplicate made of light. "I was wrong," he said without preamble. Leah blinked. About assuming you didn't need us," he said, hands in pockets. "That's lazy thinking. We lean on you because you hold. That doesn't mean we should load you." Leah swallowed. "Thanks, Dad." He stared out at the skyline. "I'm proud of you." I know, she said, and this time it landed as a gift, not a chore. Heat rose early, the kind that pressed but didn't punish. Leah rode in the shuttle with Madison and two bridesmaids who discussed lash glue like it was a geopolitical crisis. At the venue, everything smelled like flowers and battery-operated candles. Jenna was radiant and shaking. "Zipper," she whispered, and Leah's fingers steadied it. "Breath," Leah coached, and Jenna laughed. During the ceremony, Leah watched Evan's face as he saw his future walk toward him. She felt something unclench, like a door within her opening onto a room with light and a window. At the reception, Leah danced beside Madison to a playlist that traveled decades. She sat for a while with Aunt Carol and shared bites of a dessert neither of them could name. She caught her mother looking at her, then looking away, then looking again, like she was studying a photograph she'd mislabeled years ago. Near the end, Evan grabbed the microphone. "One more thing," he said, flushed with joy. "Leah, will you come up here?" Head swiveled. Leah froze, then made herself move. Evan handed her a small box. Inside, a silver charm bracelet with one charm, a tiny airplane. "So you always know," Evan said into the mic, "that you're not the only one who knows how to get somewhere." The room cheered. Leah hugged him and whispered, "I'm going to cry and ruin my makeup." "Worth it," he whispered back. The next day, Leah met her parents in the hotel cafe. Denise wore a shawl too warm for the weather, like she needed protection from more than air. "I haven't slept," Denise admitted, stirring coffee that didn't need stirring. "I kept hearing myself say, 'Sort yourself out.' It sounded so cold." Leah folded her hands around her cup. "It landed that way." Denise's mouth trembled. "I'm sorry. I think I sometimes confuse your capability with invincibility." "I'm not invincible," Leah said. "I'm just practiced." Martin cleared his throat. "We want to reimburse your flight." Leah shook her head. "No. I made a choice, and part of my choice was to own it. If you want to do something, maybe think ahead next time, not backward. And before you decide what I can carry, ask me." Denise reached across and took Leah's hand. "We will." They sat there a long time, the three of them, listening to spoons and voices in a city that had trained itself to shine. Leah gave herself a day after the wedding. She took the metro to the old creek, rode a wooden abra across the water, wind lifting her hair. She watched a line of school children in navy uniforms point at birds and shout in languages she didn't speak but felt. She bought a small blue scarf for her mother and a brass pen for Martin. For herself, she found a ring from a vendor who called her sister and meant it like blessing. She ate lunch alone in a cafe where the waiter told her his daughter wanted to study engineering in Texas. He showed her a photo. Leah showed him one of Evan and Jenna cutting cake, and they both laughed at how happiness makes everyone look a little foolish. That evening, she stood at the base of the Burj Khalifa and watched the fountains fling themselves skyward to a song she'd heard in childhood. She cried again, but these tears didn't burn. They watered. Re-entry was gentle because Leah made it so. She didn't rush to the office with souvenirs and a PowerPoint of photos. She made tea. She opened her suitcase slowly, like it might breathe. She put the ring in a dish and sat in the quiet of her apartment until the quiet turned friendly. Her parents came over the following Sunday. Martin fixed a hinge in her kitchen that had been loose for months. Denise arranged flowers in a glass jar and asked about Leah's favorite part of the trip. Leah told her and watched her mother listen without planning a reply. "I was wrong," Denise said again at the door. "Not just about the ticket. About 1,000 little things." "We were all learning," Leah said. "Let's learn faster." Denise laughed through tears. "Deal." Leah didn't need to become a different person. She adjusted her terms. When her parents asked if she could help Madison move apartments the same weekend Leah had a hiking trip planned, she said, "I can help for 2 hours Saturday morning." When Evan asked if she could edit a long email to his boss, she replied, "I can review bullet points, not drafts." He sent bullet points. They were pretty good. When the family group chat began planning Thanksgiving, Denise asked, "What does Leah want?" Leah listed 3 dishes, 1 game night, and no conversations about anyone's salary. The chat responded with heart emojis and a joke about charades. Jamie noticed. "You're different," she said one afternoon as they shared fries at their favorite diner. "I'm honest," Leah answered. "Mostly with myself." "Look at you," Jamie said, feigning misty eyes. "Our girl went to Dubai and came back with boundaries." Leah laughed. "Add that to the souvenir list." Weeks later, Denise called in a voice Leah recognized from long ago, the one used for permission slips and field trips. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course," Leah said. "We want to help you with something you want, not something you need. Your father thinks this is silly. I think it's smart. What would feel like support to you?" Leah looked around her apartment. The couch was fine. The bed was fine. Her life was fine. "I want to take a class," she said finally. "Photography. I want to learn how to see on purpose." Denise exhaled. "We'd love to cover it." Leah hesitated, then nodded even though her mother couldn't see her. "Okay," she said. "Thank you." Saturday mornings became light and lenses. Leah learned about composition and patience, how every photo is a decision about what to honor. She walked through neighborhoods she'd driven past for years and noticed things: a red tricycle left in a yard, a blue door with a chipped corner, an old man reading on his porch with bare feet tucked into the sun. She took her camera to church and asked the pastor if she could shoot candid photos during the after-service fellowship. "You've got a good eye," he told her, and Leah felt the sentence land somewhere tender and true. One afternoon, she printed a photo of her parents at the Thanksgiving table. Denise's head was tilted back in laughter, crow's feet like drawn birds at her eyes. Martin's hand rested on hers, unaware. Leah framed the photo and brought it to their house. "For our wall," she said. Denise touched the glass. "You made us look like how we feel." "That's all I wanted," Leah replied. On a rainy Tuesday, Leah found an envelope in her mailbox with her father's handwriting. Inside, a single page. "Leah, I grew up in a house where men didn't say much unless something broke. I mistook your steadiness for concrete. I didn't notice the hairline cracks. I'm sorry. I can't fix history, but I can pay attention. I want to be the kind of father you don't have to be strong around. I love you, Dad." Leah sat at her kitchen table and let the letter do what good words do, linger. She texted him a photo of the letter with a heart and then called him. He answered on the first ring. "I got it," she said. "Okay," he replied, voice thick. "Good." They talked about the game, about the weather, about nothing, in the best way. Months later, Leah stood at Evan and Jenna's new townhouse, a casserole in her hands because some traditions are excellent habits. Madison arrived with a plant that neither of them could name. They set the table and argued playfully about which drawer should hold the foil. After dinner, Leah and Evan carried boxes to the curb. The night was cool, the kind that makes everything smell a little like laundry. "Thank you for coming," Evan said, lifting a box. "For Dubai. For all of it." "I'm glad I went," Leah answered. He looked at her. "You were right, you know, about deserving. I think we all learned a little late." "Late is still on time," Leah said. They set the box down and stood there a moment, breathing the same easy air. Later, at home, Leah scrolled through her photos from Dubai. She stopped at one she'd taken by accident, her reflection in a cafe window, blurred by sun, caught between inside and out. She printed it, a reminder that sometimes the camera catches you learning how to choose yourself. She placed it beside the airplane charm on her dresser and turned off the light. The dark no longer felt like an unlit room. It felt like a sky, and Leah, for the first time in a long time, knew she could chart a course by stars of her own naming.